Hello, and you're listening to Let's Drone Out, live on the internet every Thursday night on YouTube's. Tonight we are joined by Stephen.
Hello.
My darling wife.
Darling wife, you've been drinking, Jack. Cheers.
Yep. I will refer to you as wifey because we've got two Tonys. We've got Tony Cake from ImmersionRC. Hello.
Hello.
The picturesque background. He's joining us live.
And exciting times for ImmersionRC as well.
Yeah.
Lit by street lamp.
With
the
beer
bells.
in hand. Yeah, bells, yeah.
The bells are saying it's 8 o'clock.
I know. How you doing? Hello, Tailspin, Richard Warwick, Audio Geek. Tony's in there. Win, hello. How you doing, buddy? I've made, if anyone donates, I've made a treat especial tonight.
A big firework.
So, without further ado, Tony, tell us about the events.
The events. Well, I had a lovely day. Spent a bit of time on the beach. Oh, you mean the merger thing?
Tell us about your lunch if you want to. That's fine.
Yeah.
Lunch.
You've been somewhere cool.
Today. I ended up exploring some tunnels in some underground bunker. So that was lunch.
Awesome.
Cool.
How long has this been in the offing then?
Actually, so I met Serjan, CEO from Orca, about 3 years ago. And we started chatting and realized that they were a super bunch of guys and decided to build Ghost with their help in Europe, which went very, very well. And it kind of went on from there. We realized there was a lot of synergy between the two companies. And we actually got on all right and didn't want to kill each other after the first year. So we figured out, let's see where this goes.
That's a good thing.
It's nice when that happens.
Mm.
But
FPV companies working together.
Wow, what a
that never happened.
I know. How's the supply chain been for you, regards to chip shortage and everything?
What
Is
supply chain?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
No, it's been an absolute disaster. My comment to the production guy today was, I feel like in the last year I've spent 99% of my time trying to source components and 1% of my time actually designing stuff. And it's been horrific.
Sorry, man. I know. I've noticed the rapid fires are back in stock.
Yes.
But the VTX is not so much.
No. Luckily, we had the hybrids, which is where the real interest has been. But the VTXs, they will come back in stock. We found a source of parts now. The problem is ST Microelectronics, who makes the lovely STM32, basically prioritized all of their newer parts and just haven't been building their older stuff. And we've used some trusty old parts in things like the Tramp and even in the Rapid Fire, and the supply's just not there. So a part that was $1 before this crisis is now selling on the Chinese market for $15.
Bloody hell. Which crisis are you talking about? The war, the COVID?
COVID, I think, is what started it. But I think what happened is when the supply chain issue started, I think a lot of Chinese companies started buying up everything they could get their hands on, knowing that there'll always be Western companies ready to spend big bucks when they can't find parts. And luckily, so we saw that we could always buy the parts, but the prices were just insane. And now we're finally starting to see some of these suppliers, dropping their price a bit. So maybe it's on its way out, but I don't know.
Yeah, because the Atmel, 32p, the pico-farad one, the ones that are usually found on the Arduino Nanos, the chips are almost £5 So that's like about $7 odd each.
Yeah.
You know, you could probably get. I think the cheapest you could get was like 30 for £4 something. That's British pound sterling.
Yeah.
And so it's cheaper to buy an Arduino Nano and reflow the chip off it.
It's crazy.
I noticed looking at ESCs today, like there's loads of clones that I've never heard of until recently appearing. CKS and Artery. I had on an ESC today. I thought when it had an F4, it would be an STM32 F4. It's an Artery F4 I'd never heard of.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the parts, the STM parts for ESCs are just, you just can't get them. So there's no choice for that side. But you say about the price of these parts. I mean, for the lap RFs, we haven't been able to build them for a while. The part we used in lap RF, we used to get it for about $3. Right now, it's about $78 for the same part. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we could make lap RFs, but I don't think anyone will want to pay for them.
No, that's the problem
nowadays,
isn't it?
Because like you is it true that you managed to like restock the wand, no, not the wand, the
power play
RF meter? Yeah.
No, so there's a couple of things that have happened the last few weeks. So one is we finally got the power plays back in stock. Power plays is an interesting story because we haven't been building these for probably a year, and we had all this demand for them, and we couldn't figure out why, because the FPV world can only absorb so many. And then we got a call from an old FPV guy who said, they're actually being used in the tapeless camcorder world. So there are these beautiful old camcorders with amazing optics and zoom lenses and everything, and this kind of urban kind of grungy kind of PAL NTSC effect, but their heads have worn out and they can't get tapes anymore. So they're putting a power play on top of these things and using it to record the camera's output.
What? That's genius.
Yeah,
that is mad. Because I know. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
There's this whole community of people doing this. I mean, I think the video of the guy showing how to do this had like 11,000 views or something. That's just one of them.
Wow.
Wow.
That's interesting use of your products. Makes sense, I guess.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
No.
At all.
Oh man, that is crazy because I know in Japan as well they've been the price of actual videotapes have gone up, blank videotapes in Akihabara. Like they were, there's like a little market for them, and floppy disks are now like a industry, because a lot of like the embroidery machines and the textiles industry
still using them.
Yeah, still using them. So yeah, they're like, you're having to like fight for parts.
Yeah.
What's happening then? It's becoming more of an auction for these chips. You can't just order. You've got to go and bid against other people for them.
For the chips, so you can't buy them from any of the major suppliers anymore. And if you ask around on the in Chinese markets, there's always somebody who has a reel of them. And they're generally marked up by a factor of 10. I mean, the basic number seems to be, let's just add a zero under the price, and someone will buy them.
Are you going to go the way of the clone chips and learn all the errata and weirdness that a clone might have? Is that a way to go, or are you just going to wait till the price resumes?
I've avoided, to be honest, for something like a rapid fire. I mean, rapid fire does an awful lot of real time stuff, and to do that on one of these parts, I think will be almost impossible. So for that, I've avoided it. I mean, for ESCs, it's definitely possible. I mean, BL Heli 32 supports them. They have their own errata, but it's they're quite usable.
Sorry, little nerd tangent there. Just interesting to see if we'll, as consumers, not see the products coming back to normal, or if these factors behind the scenes are effectively stopping any sort of innovation or workarounds that might bring the products back to the market?
I mean, some products are just not going to come back for a while. And some of this stuff is really insane because, I spent 2 days this week, actually while on vacation, trying to find 3.2 volt regulators. And you think, okay, these have got to be as common as muck. They're used in just about every consumer electronics product. And the smaller ones for the handheld devices, you just can't buy them. And then yesterday we thought we'd actually found a stock of 20,000 parts. We're all excited about it. We go to order a bunch, and we get a warning now, which is something these suppliers are doing. Basically, you can only order these 200 parts at a time.
Wow. So, these are not parts that people order 200 at a time, right? These are, you would never order less than 1,000 of these normally.
Yeah, well, normally it's a reel of 3,000, but I think in order for some of like Mouse or DigiKey to keep these parts in stock, they're actually having to limit it.
Wow.
So
crazy.
One reel per customer.
It's insane. It's insane.
So I don't think the team's had you on in a while. I certainly haven't been on the show when we've talked to you. You've had a lot of new products in the intervening period. There's been a new radio that's working with the ImmersionRC Ghost that's come out. So you're the only ones shipping this new specialist module form factor. All very exciting. Some new kind of hybrid video and RX solutions that you're pioneering.
It's been a busy time.
Yeah. This new module form factor, is that going to be the way that you go forward, or is that just another type of Ghost product that people have?
The problem with this, people have said, but the module form factor is not standard. Well, the only real standard in the industry is the old JR module, and that's only because it was kind of stolen from JR many years ago. So that's kind of the standard, but that's not really compatible with a small device. And then there's the the X-Lite style module, which technically FR Sky kind of owns that standard, and I think has to approve who actually uses it. So there is no standard for the smaller radios.
It's just the ghost of previous manufacturers who've left their imprint on it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this whole world is very much like that. I mean, the Tyrannus was basically, I think, it even used the tooling shells from the JR module that preceded it, the JR radio that preceded it. So we wanted a module that was super simple, that could support a double stack if we needed it. So it's got kind of an open back. We could support an OLED on there if we wanted to. But this first one is just super simple.
So it's more flexible.
Yeah. It's flexible. We can do whatever we want with it, basically. So and it seems to work quite well.
Cool. So it gives you a bit more depth to work with than the existing Nano FR Sky version. Yeah,
it's a wider module, and it fits in the radio. It's not kind of a bag on the side or a bag on the back. It can actually be recessed into the radio, and there could be more than one of those in the same radio. So there's all kind of possibilities there.
In terms of the connection to the radio, have you made any changes there in terms of the way it talks to the radio?
No, I mean that module right now, it only supports the Ghost protocol, basically just to keep things simple. I mean, the FPV control is a low end radio. It's designed to get people in through the simulator, and then flying from that. So it's just designed to be super simple. Don't need any setup other than to hit the bind button.
Nice.
So, and the idea was, if you look through the eyes of a newcomer to our world, it's a maze. It's a minefield.
It's daunting.
you got to go in, okay, what version of OpenTX do you have? Let's go get the build for your radio. Let's install it. Let's go configure all these menus to make sure you've got a protocol that works with the module that you've got in there. And then you pop over to the other side of the link, and you have to worry about the whole flight controller stack and the firmware and, the ESC firmware compatible. And it really is a minefield. And I think it puts off a lot of newcomers to this hobby.
So once upon a time, you were in the business of making quads as well. And have you considered reviving that to have the ImmersionRC Orca solution, radio, goggles, quad?
All in one package.
To be honest, I would love to. And in fact, this came up in a thread recently. I would love to revive the Mojo with some more recent electronics. I think that would be an awesome little quad. But I don't know. No decisions yet, but some possibilities there.
Oh, I think Jack could go for that.
Yeah, man. Is there any new updates for Ghost coming soon? Because I saw you worked on getting all the lure telemetry working for Betaflight.
Yes, that is. It's in testing now. There's actually we've got a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes in Ghost World, and we needed to go and do some restructuring and some cleanup and to support some new stuff, which I won't go too much into.
Kiss Ultra.
Can
I put you in touch with Alex, because we still haven't got lure working with Kiss?
Yeah,
Alexander Fedorov.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But which side of Kiss is, because Kiss split, right? I'm still confused as to what Kiss is these days.
Well,
is it the Alexander People's Front or the People's Front of Judea? Or
Alexander Fedorov's Kiss Ultra, and FetTech is Felix,
which is also Kiss.
Yeah, which is Kiss-ish, but they're FetTech now.
Okay.
So they've dropped the sort of Kiss name, but
okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to work with them. I mean, on Betaflight it works pretty well.
Yeah.
We've been playing around with that and quite happy with it.
Nice, good man.
So, but there, the other Ghost products you mentioned, I mean, the hybrid has been doing amazingly well. Super happy to see it being used in Mayhem and man, it's getting a bit loud here. Is this background audio too bad?
It's actually not too bad.
You're right.
Okay. I think there's a million people walking by the shore here.
It's a very picturesque location we've got you in here.
It's the other side is more interesting.
A few yachts and boats there.
Oh, this island is spectacular. It's the first time I've been here, and it's just absolutely amazing. But yeah, the hybrid.
Where are you joining us from?
So this is, I think it's the. Let me get this right. The easternmost island of Croatia. This is called Vis, and it's a little tiny place, which I think up until '91, foreigners couldn't travel here because it was a Yugoslavian military base with its own rocket port and bunkers and all kind of fun stuff.
Oh, wow.
So
it's beautiful along the coast there. I've been down to Korčula and Dubrovnik, and
I've been to Korčula and Dubrovnik, Split as well. Lovely areas.
Well, this is a 2-hour ferry ride from Split.
Oh, okay.
Are you doing any
not
flying?
Been to Leper Island there yet then?
No. I've been exploring these bunkers here. It's absolutely unbelievable. You just you climb up a hill, you climb behind an old gun emplacement, and there's just tunnels that just run on for miles.
Wow. Fascinating.
But back to the hybrid.
Sorry. Yep.
No, so hybrid's doing well. They it makes setup an awful lot easier, and they're used by a lot of racers. So really happy with that. And there will be some more products coming along those lines relatively soon.
Yeah, you seem to kickstart something pretty big then, and others were soon following suit, I noticed.
Yeah. It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah,
but yeah, it's definitely a nice idea.
Yeah.
Well, you got Trappy screaming, "You guys don't know what you want." So I think that was a little win. It's always funny seeing Trappy on his toes.
This competition has always been good. If we lose it, then I think we'll all get a bit complacent and lazy. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just hope that Trappy doesn't get rid of like his R&D side, because the Express LRS is probably hurting him in a way.
I mean, it's hurting all of us, but it's but it is bringing in more people to the hobby. So I think that's a good thing. So
yeah,
you can make it easier.
Yeah, because they're flashing your modules and receivers, aren't they?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
They still have to buy it.
Still have to buy it, and I've never done anything to prevent that. So why not?
A rising tide and all that.
We've even had a few cases where somebody's done that, regretted it, and sent it in to be reflashed with ghosts. So that's fine too.
Oh,
nice.
I like that.
You can actually do that. Yeah, I suppose bootloader, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we can reflash. There's some calibration stuff in there as well that gets blown away when you flash it. So that's something we just recalibrate it. It's fine.
Yeah, set the option bytes again. Everyone's happy.
Yeah. No, so that's okay.
Nice.
That does make me laugh.
Well, I think Brutus says what a refreshing thing to hear, and it's nice to hear that it's not all kind of this vindictive sniping on one another. And to some extent, if people are taking more interest in the hobby as a whole, that is more money coming into the hobby for everyone, not just the person who's made a bit of news lately. Yeah, no, it's I think it's a good thing. I think talking about the money, I think a lot of the money went out of this hobby a long time ago. It really is. It's still a tiny niche, and luckily we have people, I think myself included, who are crazy enough to still hang around in it, and just because it's fun.
Yeah,
I think I think that's a good thing.
Have you been flying yourself lately?
Actually, I was last week. We had some new stuff to try. There's a beautiful abandoned university building in it's a place called Osijek. It's where the Orca HQ is, and went up there with some cool pilots, and that was fun.
Nice. Were you still flying wings, or were you flying a quad?
Oh no, I fly at home. I mainly fly fixed wing these days.
Yeah, as I say,
just super long range stuff, and proximity at range. Just some challenging RF stuff.
Nice.
But no, I got some quad flying in last week. It's a nice part of the world to fly up there.
Beautiful. Yeah, Failsafe linked a video over in Madstech the other day showing a bando that he was going to go visit in Croatia, and that guy travels insane distances to fly. I think he was on a 6-hour train ride to fly around an abandoned building in the UK, and now he's gonna mission it over to Croatia to fly some abandoned site. He's been invited.
Well, there is there's an abandoned, a partly finished hospital in Zagreb, which is, I think it's 1.5 kilometers long, and there's a tunnel that runs straight through the middle. And a couple of years ago, we actually managed to paraloop the thing, which is pretty interesting.
That's a good radio test, I should think.
Yeah. But no, this place is superb, and the watchmen there, or the security guards, are pretty relaxed. So seems to be well tolerated.
What's the preferred currency for bribing your way into abandoned buildings in Croatia?
50 quid, isn't it?
I don't know what they do. I mean, this island here, man. I mean, I wish I'd brought more gear out here, because there's some beautiful places to fly. But I don't know. They're pretty relaxed about it out here, which is really good.
Yeah, I suppose they haven't had the sort of like hassle and Gatwick over here.
Yeah.
No.
Audio Geek. Oh, sorry, carry on.
What's that? Carry on.
No, Audio Geek asks an interesting question. I've always wondered why analog FPV has limited resolution. Isn't it possible to double the bandwidth like DJI did with the 50-bit mode? Not that easy, I get it, but what's the actual problem in the end?
Throw up, pal. Do it again.
So the problem is, we all base this stuff on standards, and the standards are PAL and NTSC.
Never
PAL
the
and
same
NTSC,
color.
Yeah, never the same color. Yeah. So they, these are age-old standards, and it turns out that when you FM modulate these things and put it on our 5.8 gig band, you end up with, let's say, roughly a 20 megahertz wide band. The problem is, if you double that, now you've got, a 40 megahertz wide channel. And if you take race band, which is what's required to get 8 legal channels in the US, they're only 37 megahertz apart. And then you need a guard band of, 5 or 10 megahertz between them. So, you could do it, but you'd end up with not many channels.
Do you think you'd get a decent image out of it if you were to do it?
I don't know. I mean, I think people have tried it in the past. I mean, it's I guess anything is possible. It becomes a system that's a bit difficult to sell because there are also, there are European regulations on the channel width, which I think that would violate.
Right. Okay.
But anything's possible.
Yeah, because you've got different regulations when you use a digital signal, right? And you don't have a constant analog carrier.
Yeah. Plus the digital stuff can, the guard band between channels can be much narrower, which helps a lot. But yeah.
All right, we got another question here. Tribal asks, now HDZero is going open source. Can we tempt Tony in building a VTX with the DiviMath chip?
No.
I suppose if you can get hold of them.
No, I posted something about this yesterday, the day before. So it's not really going open source.
Okay.
If you take something like Betaflight or you take something like OpenTX, the IP value in these systems is in the open source code, right? So you can take an STM32 off the shelf and you can take a reference design for a radio and you can shove in OpenTX and you've got an open source radio. And if it wasn't an STM32, if it was one of these Artery or whatever they called, or a CKS processor, that worked just fine as well. The problem with the HDZero stuff is the ASIC itself is not being open sourced. It's just kind of the fluff around it. And the problem with that is it means that everyone is tied to a single source and single source pricing for the actual IP, which is this chip.
What about people who would say it's the same as buying those Richwave chipsets that most
of
the
it's very, very different because Richwave, I've been working with Richwave now for close to 10 years. Richwave don't compete with manufacturers. Richwave, they make chips which have always cost about the same. They've never made a product for FPV space. They're just a chip supplier. The difference with DiviMath is, if you look at the history, we had Fat Shark, which made the first DiviMath systems, and then the DiviMath products then competed with the Fat Shark products and basically put them off the market. So it's a bit different, and being
I think that's got a chilling effect. Unfortunately, the HDZero ownership, creating reference designs, and essentially competing with people who would use their own products to make their designs. Yeah.
And the other thing, I did reach out to Carl because, behind the scenes, I was working with Carl and with Greg, for a few years now when he came to Fat Shark with this concept. But, the problem is to be tied to a single source is an issue. I'm not super happy with the performance of it. It's not something I fly myself. And I think, we're in a situation where in order to basically kill analog, the margins that retailers are being asked to take for these products are so slim that retailers are basically losing money when they sell them.
Yeah.
And that's not sustainable. I mean, the FPV world has always supported the retail channels with some margins which allow them to pay their salaries and put food on the table.
Right. Right.
So it just doesn't seem to be the right way to do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fighting too hard for that market share.
Yeah. So what's that?
I also worry about the whole of where the UK kind of fits in on all of this, because we've had Brexit, we've had COVID. I just think that we're sort of a bit screwed ourselves.
Well, Brexit I think screwed everyone. I mean, I used to have, as you know, the European Repair Center was in the UK, has been for many years. Run by a very good friend of mine, Dave. Brexit came in, and it's just not possible to ship stuff in and out anymore. Especially
we really cut our nose off to spite our face there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was just crazy shit. It's a real shame. And I think that has tentacles which are long and will take a while for them to be really fully understood. Even here, I've been in Croatia, and I've been traveling in and out for a number of years, and I'd love to buy an apartment here. It used to be before Brexit, as a British passport holder, no problem. Just sign here. Here's your apartment. Move in tomorrow. And since Brexit, it's just not possible anymore.
Sad.
So,
yeah,
it's a shame.
It's a shame. I think people were vastly misled, but hey, we're not a politics show.
Hey, Crunch.
For all the commentary that we do have.
Crunch here, the HPI guy, Alexander Fedorov is here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
We were talking about you. So, yes. So Alexander, he's the guy who's doing the Kiss Ultra. So, please, can we work on getting Ghost and the Lure talking and everything?
Yes.
Thank you.
I would be very happy to do that.
I will forward you his email.
Well, apparently, according to Krunks, there is it is implemented.
Said you sent him a PDF. No, okay. I didn't know. Okay, that's cool.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, happy to see that.
Maybe Jack's failed to flash to me.
It's the Lure. Sorry, yeah, Lure. That's what you wanted.
Yeah. The Ghost protocol is supported in KISS, I think, in both flavors.
Yeah, works brilliantly.
Yeah. But MSP, it's to be honest, it's been something that a few people have been working on in the background. I've been so busy with this, getting the merger sorted out and everything kind of behind the scenes here, that I haven't had much time to work on it. But I should be able to do that fairly soon.
Yeah, you were fixing the email support and everything, weren't you?
That all changed over. That was fun.
So it looks like you've got a new position as CTIO, was it, after the merger?
Yes.
So are you going to change what you're doing day to day? Now you're
not
part
really.
Of Orca?
It's what I've always done. So we joke about it with the other founders, but basically my job is to come up with ideas. The CTO's idea is to reject those ideas. No, it's very good. It's Orca is a company where innovation is, I think, highly respected, and it's amazing being around a really smart team where you can throw around ideas and they build on each other. And eventually, hopefully, turn into some pretty cool products. So, pretty happy with it.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing fascinating new ideas come out of your brain and be made into reality. Be excellent.
Hope so.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is the FPV control that you were talking about the FPV.CTRL firmware has been identified.
It's this little it's a remote with full size kind of whole gimbals. Stupidly long battery life. In fact, it's something that hasn't been published very well, but without the Uberlight module in, this thing can run for about 78 hours non-stop on one charge.
That's good.
And even with the Uberlight in, I think the battery life is about 40 hours. But it's it's a nice little simple radio designed to get it's cheap. It's designed to help people come in through simulators.
Yeah.
And then once they want to fly, they just pop in the Uberlight and go fly.
MadTech asks, Tony, when is the IRC power meters be available again? I need a new one after an incident.
So good news there. We this was another part that had gone out of stock. Yeah. Actually, several parts that went out of stock. We've located everything. We're in the middle of testing. One of our critical suppliers, who makes the attenuator, decided that they do a Rev A of their product and completely screwed up the performance below 6 gigahertz. So we basically had to beg them for reels of the original parts that we used, which now they found, and we're a few weeks out. I think maybe 4 weeks would be about right to see those on the shelves again. And they're now in a new white case with a funky new logo on there. So they've had a bit of a facelift as well.
Oh.
Nice.
Like excellent. The Riot ones in the white case.
Was that white or black? Yeah, maybe it's white.
I can't remember. I think it was white, weren't it? With black decals. I can't remember.
It could have been. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember.
That's coming.
Right with who?
Rotor Shite.
We don't talk about Rotor Riot. Well, unless we're in a time warp. So as a long-range wing pilot, have you had a look in at OpenHD or the other kind of more experimental HD solutions?
I haven't, to be honest, and I'll be honest with you. I'm still very much a vinyl guy. I'm still flying 100% analog, and the kind of performance that we can get out of analog these days with some decent antennas is fantastic. And I'm pretty happy flying 10, 20, 30 kilometers out with a link that I know is going to degrade relatively gracefully. Which I haven't really seen yet with any of the digital solutions.
Yeah. Are you using the 433?
No. This is all on Ghost 2.4.
Okay. Sorry, Stephen. I cut you off.
No, I was just saying digital can be a bit stop-start. I do appreciate that. I don't fly far, but I fly through dense undergrowth, and every now and then it's just like, oh, there we go. No warning.
It literally just stops.
Yep.
No, you were right. It is black, dark grey. The Rotor Riot case.
Yeah.
Thank you, MadTech.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
But even Bando flying last week. I mean, one of the guys is flying, and he's like 2 stories underground or something, and he's still flying this thing. You have to watch a video and think, well, where is he actually taking this thing? And he's still flying merrily with just a couple of omnis on his goggles.
Jeez, that's incredible.
So a bit old school, but I still very much value that.
So, with this new partnership with Orca, what can we expect? Is there anything you can leak, or
expect the unexpected?
I thought you were going to do that, and like I think the quote was to be a European powerhouse.
Well, these guys. It's a pretty amazing team, and they've got their fingers in all kind of pies, including multi-mission headsets for the defense side, which are pretty cool, and there's all kind of stuff that publicly they've said they're doing, and I think I can't say much about where it's going, but partly because I think we're not sure yet, but I think there's an awful lot of potential there. So I think we'll see.
I'm really looking forward to seeing a full solution from you guys. You know, just a big old box with everything in it you need to fly.
Well, I think this is what I'm looking forward to, because I don't think there's a European company which has this yet. I think when you do that, you can make things an awful lot easier to use. I know there were a lot of complaints when the Uber Light came out, the FPV control. Okay, it's got no OLED, it's got no this, it's got no that. But I think it's just because we're kind of trained to look for that. I think people coming into this hobby, they don't want any of that shit. They want to pick this thing up. They want to turn it on and go fly.
You only want all those features if your intention is to fly like 6 different quads with one radio. If you're just going to fly a single quad, it can be configured perfectly for that quad from the factory.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've got one. Actually, I've got 2 models on my. Actually, 3 models. I do like on my TX16. One for INAV stuff, one for Betaflight quads, and one for planks with no flight controller. And that's all I need. Most of the features are just not touched.
Oh, hang on.
Thank you, Audio Geek.
I will be back. Hang on. I've got a little treat.
Oh God, what is Jack going to set fire to?
Has he got a fire extinguisher? Can anyone see a fire extinguisher in frame?
He has got a fire extinguisher. I don't know whether it's to hand.
Jack.
I don't know what he's done either. I know we've run out of fireworks because everything.
Yeah, so he might be lighting something that isn't a firework, which raises more questions than it answers.
Look, yeah, there's been a bit of a supply chain problem with the old fireworks, because stuff's got shut down.
Jack, what are you doing? Do we need to call the fire services?
Have you got 999 like on speed dial?
Show the camera what you've been preparing here, so we can all.
I'm trying to get this here.
I don't really want to. What was that noise?
Whatever it was, it squeaked.
Are you setting light to a guinea pig or something?
What has he got there?
Please don't do that.
Guinea pig. No, if any of you are a fan of the big Clive show, then
Sherbet Fountain, is that no? What has he got there?
What is that?
Wow.
Thank you, Audio Geek.
Can you illuminate the audio viewers to exactly what?
Don't get it on your hands.
What are you doing? He's got something that's squirting foam out of the container. I thought you'd had a haircut, but you've just
been practicing, haven't you?
I did burn all the hair off of my right hand the other day.
Can you explain to people who may not be in the know what exactly you just set fire to?
This is a foamy woofler.
Excuse me, Bacon.
Man's text just dropped.
A foamy woofler.
17.
For more drugs, alcohol, and hookers.
A foamy woofler. Just run that past me again. A foamy woofler is what exactly?
I've been enjoying 3D printing, and you can 3D print this, and it
3D print foam. What?
It attaches to a cigarette fuel.
It's butane, is it?
Butane,
right.
Yeah. And you fill it up with foamy woofler juice, and then you press it down, and then
foamy woofler. Is that just washing up liquid?
If you catch fire, what fire department do we call?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think we should.
He's
it's
having
a bit
lot of fun
dodgy
with
when
it.
the can catches fire.
A little bit.
Thank you very much, Madstick.
Thank you, Madstick. Thank you.
Thank you. How's the arm hair, Jack? Will it
Audio Geek
grow back?
Yeah, no, it's still bald as anything.
Who needs lady shave, eh?
Yeah, you can, which is really dangerous.
Position, I think.
You can move the foam to your hand.
Oh, here we go.
Oh God.
Oh my word. Is that just liquid soap and butane?
I think that was the rest of my hair.
Washing up liquid?
It must smell good in there at this point.
Yeah, it is washing up liquid, but it's foamy woofler juice.
Foamy woofler juice. You heard it here first.
So you can
back to the plot. What's left of it?
What was the plot again?
I've
just got foamy woofler tattooed on my mind now.
Oh dear. Thank you for donations.
Yeah, Clive. Yeah, big Clive live. You can see him do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he's a Scottish guy. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Where were we?
Quads. I think we're talking about flying things, but so I guess you've made a few quads in your time, right, Tony? If you're going to make one with kind of what you know now and what you've seen over the past few years, what would that look like?
So it's interesting that you ask, because I had for this trip, I had to bring a quad that I could give to somebody who had just started flying, basically learned on the simulator, had a few flights around, and I have a collection of quads hung on the wall, as I'm sure all of you do. And you ask yourself the question, well, which one would you bring for a beginner that actually wants to have a bit of fun? So you want something that's it's fairly agile, but something that if you smash into a wall, it doesn't need repair. And to be quite honest, the one I'd love to build right now would be a Mojo with some decent electronics in, kind of an up-to-date flight controller with latest beta flight and some decent ESCs, and I think that would be a fun little thing, even just a handful.
Mojo 2022.
Yeah, revival.
Yeah, no, I think that when I look at that platform, it kind of arrived at the end of the kind of the Vortex era where people are starting to build their own, which is all good. But man, I just wish I had a box full of these things that when I want to either give one to somebody or I want to go out and fly myself, I can just grab one.
It's gone back around for people that would like to just buy a ready-made quad or kit.
Yeah, I think on the race side, I think when you look at the amount of effort that a racer puts in before and during a race, just to build his system, it's just crazy. I think they would. I do like the idea of this freedom spec kind of stuff where everything gets a bit simpler.
So is this also what we're looking at, the 230mm version?
Yeah, that's the puppy.
Also, I'd like to see the guns versus drones with the Mojo, because it was even smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun episode there.
Oh God, I miss Final Glide so much.
I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Well, he was over. He's doing something with drones commercially, but he basically, this is all hearsay. Someone had it in for him, and CASA were basically, I believe, harassing him in some respect. I don't fully know. This could be all theoretically hypothetical, but
I know some of this stuff went on. It was all a bit nuts.
Yeah. So,
but that's a shame. No, that was fun times. I would ride around with Tommy and him and Sharpoo.
Yeah.
And,
Dug a dive and all the Ukrainian sort of stuff.
that was the best time, isn't it?
Oh my God!
Yeah, that was
in many ways
it was a shame that couldn't continue.
It was when it caught the public's imagination, I think, and had its moment in the limelight.
I think also the team they were all amazing on camera, and they all had their own kind of quirky personalities, and it just meshed well together.
Yeah.
See, I do miss that.
I know.
Yeah,
I do.
We all do.
Well, they've all got serious jobs now. They're all working in Hollywood and doing car commercials and Lord knows what.
Snorting cocaine and doing hookers, hopefully. This one's for you, lads.
But Guy, do keep in touch.
I flinched then, and I'm not even in your room. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, do keep in touch with Luke Bannister. He passes down through Europe every once in a while. He's doing some pretty cool stuff on the professional side.
Mm.
And I don't know have you guys seen the wingsuit videos with Colas?
We've seen them, yeah.
That stuff is absolutely nuts.
Oh,
There's some people suggesting that the Nazgul, I think that the Evoke, the iFlight Nazgul Evoke, might have been stealing a trick from your Vortex there with the re-emergence of plastic side panels. I think both that and the latest Diatone have included clip-on plastic side panels to protect the electronics.
What a concept!
There you are. Where did they get these ideas from?
You mean leaving electronics to hang out in the breeze is not a good idea?
They work better when they've got cut grass stuck to them. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, mate, I've still got a set of Sunny Skies like 2236 or whatever, in the hope that one day you might be here. Have a Shogun Pro.
Shogun. I was looking at those lately. That was a funny thing.
I know. You should have patented the folding arms, mate. You would have made so much money.
You got to leave something on the table for everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was actually, it was Greg from Fat Shark who actually tried to convince me to do that. And I said, you know, why the hell would anyone care about this stuff? Shit, was I wrong?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you wouldn't have got anywhere with DJI because they've just been like, YOLO in China, patents don't apply. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Smoke bomb.
What's a patent?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
They just call something else. That's how you work around patents. You make it look almost identical to the patent, but with one tiny little difference.
Yeah. Trouble is in FPV land is by the time the patent actually get issued, for most stuff, it's obsolete already.
Out of date, yeah, gone. In and out.
So you haven't heard from Greg at all, from Fat Shark?
I actually spoke to him recently. He was obviously his home base was in Shenzhen, and obviously with all these crazy Chinese restrictions and border controls and all this stuff, he was having problems getting out of there. But I think finally he escaped. But I think he's doing good.
Get out and stay out.
Yeah, so my brother-in-law is actually he's been stuck out there now for 3 years without being able to travel.
Bloody hell.
So, what's your analog goggle? What are you flying with then? You been Orca all the way for a while now.
I switched to the first Orcas, and my 50-plus-year-old eyes kind of begged for some kind of focus adjust. So then the new ones came out, and I got to be honest, when I put these new ones on, I haven't looked back, and it's not, the image for me is absolutely bloody perfect. I can dial these things in exactly as I want them. I love it. The DVR for me is, is second to none, and I make the power play, so it really is. It's fantastic. So for longer range flights, when you don't have an onboard recorder, it's super nice to have a high resolution, upscaled 60 hertz DVR footage at the end of the flight, whether or not you get the quad back or the plane back.
Sometimes not.
But no, I'm pretty happy with those.
Are there any kind of interesting features that you can see that the rapid fire adopting now? You've got this synergy with Orca where you can sort of influence each other.
Well, we already had the automatic channel change stuff, but quite frankly, on that, I'm waiting to hear from the community what they want to do with it. There's been some suggestions, like for example, tie the arm switch through, so we can start the DVR on arm and stop it on disarm, which would be kind of nice. So there's a few little things like that, but whatever people are interested in, The ports are
Of
there.
course, the risk with that is when you disarm because you're about to hit something, you don't find out in the DVR where it actually landed.
Never
I just got to keep power on that.
Never disarm.
I think I'm going to be attacked by a chihuahua in a minute.
Tony clearly spends way more on ESCs than I do. I just buy the cheap ones. I disarm real quick.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I think, anything is possible there.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to some new stuff then. Keep growing the hobby. Keep coming. Let's hope China get back to work.
Yeah, I think they will. I think on the chip shortage, I think what's going to happen is, they built a whole bunch of new fabs. I think there's going to be kind of an overshoot now where we're going to reach a point where there's going to be just too much of everything and prices will drop back to below where they were before. But
the question is when, I guess, isn't it? I thought it was going to happen, and it looks like another shortage has hit.
I think we're at least a couple of years out. I mean, this whole Ukraine thing doesn't really help, especially since all of the rail routes from Shenzhen into Europe all go through either Russia or Ukraine. So that doesn't help with the whole shipping crisis.
Yeah. I noticed for a while all the flight controllers were out of stock, and all the F411s are gone, and you can't get F405, and then all of a sudden there was a burst of kind of F722s and H743s that were, while expensive, not more expensive than the F405s had been.
Yeah,
and that looked kind of rosy for a while, but it looks like those are becoming a bit harder to come by now.
Well, the F7 is dead, and the F7 was never really useful anyhow because they never made one with enough flash space.
F765,
but actually, that is one
used.
To use. So I've been working on a couple of flight controller designs with Orca, and that's fairly public knowledge. And they are very, very close to being produced.
What's the unique selling point of those then?
So the analog one is just designed to be simple. It's an H7 2020, nice clean design, which has a single cable 1-to-1 pin map straight onto the hybrid. So nice. For analog use, you basically just have the two boards, short cable between them, plug a camera in.
So you'd have a JST on each end.
Yeah, very simple. But that's the analog version. The analog version's got the OSD chip. The digital version is kind of cool. It doesn't have the OSD chip, but it's got Ghost on board. So for anyone flying HDZero or DJI, all they need is this one flight controller with Ghost on, and it's ready to go.
That's good.
Excellent. It's a nice direction. Any fancy tricks like Hydra was doing, like Dominic was doing with his trying to run the OSD on the H7 as well, and all the.
For now, no. For now, we haven't done that, and it gets tricky to do that. One way to do it is you just use a little tiny external STM32. And what happened over the last year is that these little tiny external STM32s became more expensive than the original OSD chip. So why bother?
Yeah,
right. Oh, that sounds like an excellent little product. I look forward to seeing that released.
Yeah. So yeah, they're pretty close. They're going to be called the Scream series, I believe. So it's
Scream. All right, well, look out for that in the stores. Excellent.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Gonna be interesting to see now we do get this critical mass of H7s out there that have a ton more memory, a ton more flash, and a ton more CPU speed. What uses people put that to, because it's capable of doing a heck of a lot more than we're doing in Betaflight right now, and it's just sitting on the table waiting for a developer to find something interesting. Right there, Jack.
Just spilled that all over me. I can't drink properly. Oh no, we got the bells again.
That's it. It's saying it's the end of the show. 9 o'clock has arrived.
Yeah, the end is nigh.
I think Tony was about to drop some little bits of wisdom on us there.
Well, no. But I was going to say the funny thing about the H7s is, for us, it was one of the only processors that we could get hold of, which is crazy.
No one wants them.
Oh no, but a bunch of them came on the market, and you can't get F7s anymore. F7s are designed with an older process, which I think ST is not bothering to build anymore. So you got a choice between an F4 and an H7.
That's not a hard choice.
But iNav's dropped support for H7s, I think, didn't they?
They have?
Are you sure, Jack?
I don't know. Maybe. No, H
is the newest one. That's like the 480 megahertz, 2 mega flash.
Sorry, my mistake. The
F7.
Yeah, I think maybe the F411. I think they stopped. F3 for the win, says Richard Warwick. Sorry, yeah, my mistake. So,
the F7s were a problem with that because they just don't have enough memory.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you've been running iNav next to your planks with no flight controller. Sorry, I love that term. That was quite funny.
Thanks. There we go. There's the bells again.
That's it.
Yeah.
The lovely old clock up on a fort.
Nice.
I've just gone to look and see what iNav is dropping support for. I think Jack may have been voicing some fever dream or nightmare that he had. I can't see. I can't see these deprecations.
They dropped F3. I know, but
yeah, that was a while ago, I think.
I thought the thing with F7 is you want the F765, which no one uses because that's the one that's got 1 meg or 2 meg of flash, and the F722 is the one that's only got half a meg of flash.
Yeah, you just can't get any of them. I mean, it's a problem, a bit of a drought.
What iNav have done, they've actually reduced the available features. For F411 and F722, there's a feature reduction.
Yeah.
So you now have a whole bunch of features you cannot get, which are the Furious FPV VTX, Virtual Pilot, a servo driver, some D, some H, XBus, and HOTT telemetry.
Nothing that anyone cares about these days.
Really, yeah. This is like Betaflight saying they're not going to be supporting PWM-RXs, which they haven't done yet.
Yeah,
they're still. Is your YouTube channel still working, Stephen? Shiny video stuff.
It's working in as much as it exists, but I never really posted anything exciting.
Yeah,
be the first to admit that.
It gives a 404 error, deleted or wrong link in the description for Stephen's YouTube channel. We will fix that. And if it's not fixed by next week, I can do it.
All right.
Yeah. No worries. That's all we got time for. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out, and it's been amazing having Tony on again. Tony Cake, the man behind.
Pleasure. It's been a while.
ImmersionRC, for the experience.
Thanks, Dad.
That's good. It's been a real pleasure. Don't do this very often, and this has always been a pleasure.
Yeah.
So sorry for the background noise.
Yeah, I was really upset not having you on when you released Ghost. I really wanted to get you on, but you just didn't get back to me.
I feel like
you were busy.
It's been a bit like running on a treadmill for a while, but now things will be a little easier.
Oh, thank God!
Congratulations and all the best for the future.
Yeah,
thank you very much. And let's as soon as some more fun stuff happens, let's do this again.
Yeah, excellent. We'll do, man. Yeah. Thank you.
If a new Mojo appears, we have to have you back because we all want to see the Mojo for 2022.
I think anything is possible. I think that'd be a nice little platform. But yeah, let's see what happens.
You still owe a viewer a giveaway for a Mojo. I can't remember who it was.
Mikey Dread, I think.
Yeah, Mikey Dread. Yeah, he won one, and you never sent it out.
Oh, that's bad. The crazy thing is, I think there's still some stuck in the Hong Kong free trade zone because when Hong Kong went crazy a couple of years ago, they banned anything shipping that had the word drone in from the warehouse there. Dear. So I think there's
there it is, Mikey Dread. It's in Hong Kong.
Yeah, if you want it, it's there.
I'll see if I can unstick it.
Yeah, maybe get your brother-in-law to hop over.
Yeah, go out there with a heavy mob.
Yeah. Massive shout out to all our Patreons, guys. If you listen to this on audio podcast, we're live on YouTube every Thursday, and all the donations help to pay our editor and get everything neatened up. We still need to pay for our website. We owe Wix some money, so if you can become a Patreon, that would really help. We'd love to have our website back so people can buy merch, buy a t-shirt or something. You've been joined by Tony Cake from ImmersionRC, Stephen.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
My darling wife, the other Tony.
Bonjour. I don't know why
He's my FPV wife. And I've been Bright Till I Fly. Thank you, Patreons. We love you. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Cheers, Tony.
Cheers, Tony. Bye.
See ya.